Robbie, welcome back. It's the third time now that we've gotten you on, and I'm delighted to have you.
Dan, thanks for having me on. It's good to
No
be here.
bother.
How
We
you
had a
doing?
bit of a shake-up though, didn't we? You were a bit sick the last.
I wasn't well, yeah. Yeah, stomach problems and, I'll not get into it. But yeah, I'm all right now.
The
I'm back
gory
on track.
details.
No, I won't go into the details, but no, I
uh,
just wasn't myself. It just
no
knocked me for
bother.
six,
Yeah, there's
so
loads of shit going around at the minute, isn't there? And where I'm working, we're picking up all sorts off the kids there. So
yeah, COVID's back on the scene apparently.
yeah,
So
I
hey.
thought it was dead.
So did I.
Finally gone.
No, I never got COVID.
No, neither did I.
No,
Or at least the tests never came back positive. But
no, yeah, same. Never got it.
yeah,
But
good
anyway,
stuff.
what's tonight?
Yeah, let's get the agenda started.
Get
So,
the agenda started.
um, we were talking just before about the subject of bullying. And I was just wondering, like, if you have any personal experience on it, your like yourself, whatever you want to share, and then also like in your years as a social care worker, if you've seen it and the impact it can have.
Yeah, well, personal experience, and obviously I've witnessed it in my job. So when I
Yeah,
was a young kid, I got bullied twice. So once was a physical bullying, and
yeah,
then the other one was more mental. And the mental one really got me.
yeah,
I still think about it to this very day. I was only thinking of it the other day, and like, it turns out the first. I'll start. I won't run ahead of myself. The
yeah,
first one was I stayed back a year in school. So
yeah,
I was with a brand new crew of lads, and a lot of them were from the council estates. Like, no offense to anyone, but like
yeah.
they all stuck together and they were strong lads. So I
That's
was
the thing.
tested.
And some of them are a bit wiser as well, aren't they? They know how
Yeah,
to get one
yeah,
up on someone.
I find young people living in like the council estates, they're more wise, they're more streetwise.
Yeah, yeah,
So I found that, but like all my friends moved on. So I was in a year with a lot of lads a year. I was the same age as them because I was too young going to school. So I was the same age
yeah.
as these guys.
I
But
had
I
the
was being
same thing actually in primary. Same thing happened to me. I was too young starting, and they
same,
kept me
yeah.
back. Yeah,
I literally went into school, babies. I think it was just gone four, and most of the lads were five, going on six.
yeah,
But yeah, so I was tested a lot, and I ended up becoming friends with my bully. To be honest with you, this
yeah,
was yeah. So we had a few situations where I had to defend myself, and the fact that I stood up for myself a little bit, it kind of they thought twice about bullying me or whatever. But it went on for a while, and there was other lads that I hung around with that experienced the same from the same group. But I ended up becoming friends with this guy, and he was funny. He's a good guy. Like, he's a good guy now. I still say hello to him.
yeah,
But like, I think that initial bullying, I got over that really quickly. But the second time I got bullied, it was just before I went into secondary school, and I had a lad, and it was psychological. The stuff he used to try and say to me. We used to go mitching from school sometimes. And I remember one summer we had like sticks with wire cables on them, and he made me put out my arm because he was going to whip me, and I kind of started crying. I was really afraid because he was a
yeah.
big guy, like he was actually quite muscly, and I put my arm out anyway, and he wrapped the copper wire around me and ripped it off, and it left a huge mark. And but that's what really kind of scared me. Then I stopped going into school. And it was a little while later. My parents noticed something was going wrong. So what? To be honest, the funniest thing is, when my dad went over to actually speak with the family, it turns out this person's dad was extremely violent, and
Yeah.
he used to bat. There was four brothers, and he used to batter them, and he used to batter his wife. And upon reflection, looking back, I realized actually what he was doing. He was especially the stuff he used to do to me mind. It was all about power and control. So he
Yeah,
didn't have that. He didn't have that in his house, so he was trying to get it in other ways. It was just very toxic the way he was going about it. When really he should have took more control of himself. But he ended up, we ended up. That came to an end. That came to an end when my dad approached that and resolved that for me. But this young lad went on to secondary school and ended up bullying more people. And then, funny enough, I became friends with him. But I realized, I realized by engaging with him as grown into a teenager in secondary school, he wasn't. He was. was behind his development, let's say, and he was really innocent looking back. But I became friends with him, but I still get angry that I allowed that to happen.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But it's made me more empathetic towards other people, and I'm not a violent person anyway, but I can defend myself. But
yeah.
when I see other people getting bullied, it triggers me. So I have to balance that out, especially when when I was at work, and you'd see now it might not be bullying. You know the way young lads, there's always a leader in the group, and there's an alpha
Yeah.
male, and you're always up
Someone that
against
they
that.
all listen to.
Yeah, somebody you all listen to. So it's up to you if you pick a friend that's the leader. It's up to you whether you just go, actually, I don't want to hang around with this guy or I will. But I've
Mm.
seen in residential units some young lads come in and are very, very nervous, very shy compared to other people who are very confident and whatever. So they're like sheep. They almost follow the bullies, and it's not necessarily bullying, but their thoughts are not their own. They can't really express themselves properly. So
Mm.
I find that bullying, it really does lower your self-esteem. Um,
100%.
rips you apart with your confidence. It takes you years to kind of rebuild that. And like even now, if let's say you may have experienced it yourself, you're walking down the town after a night out and there's a load of fighting going on, and you think if I look over there now, that could include me. So you're kind of nervous how things are going to go. So it still affects me to this day. I kind of get nervous when I'm around dangerous people who I perceive
You
might be
become hyper
dangerous.
vigilant after, don't
Yeah,
you? You're
exactly.
scanning the
Yeah,
room to see who's
yeah,
doing what. And
very
I
much
get
so.
that 100%. Yeah.
You're constantly risk assessing. Is there a
Yeah.
situation I could get in here, or would I avoid it? And to be honest with you, you're better off walking away. You
Yeah.
are better off walking away if you can,
What the
because
teacher said is true. Who would have
yeah, but
thought?
like it's as I got older, I hung around with a bigger group of lads, and that fear you see kind of went away because I had all this
Yeah.
protection. And but the thing is, as we got older, we got stronger, and the fights became like, let's say you did get in a fight after a night out, and the town, like Drogheda was a bit nuts. It still is,
Yeah.
but like I've seen some fights where I was like, someone could have really got seriously injured there. So you
Yeah.
start to really contemplate. Actually, I don't want that on my conscience. I don't want to be. I don't want to injure someone permanently, So I just pulled away from it naturally as we got older. But I still see it going on today. It's just I don't know why. I think it's lack of role models, like we were talking about the last
Yeah.
time. We
Yeah.
really need some good role models there because these young lads, they've no one else to follow, and they may not have a father figure in their lives, and you know they don't have that guidance, and they think they know it. They think I'm a man. This is the way I do things, and it's just lack of guidance, lack of emotional support, I suppose.
Yeah. 100%. And like as well, I think one thing that I noticed was like a lot of I would say actually any bullying I experienced would have been psychological because I'm a big lad, but
Yeah,
kids are smart fuckers as well. They know they used that against me, and they know that I
yeah,
was going to anger management because I could snap so
yeah,
easily. They know that my mom and dad were, up to their necks, especially my mom bringing me off to meetings, and they were kind of like, if you do anything, we're going to tell the teacher or something, like in primary
yeah,
school.
yeah.
So I was kind of like, I can't fucking win here because if I got into a fight, I'd get a clip around the ears. And if I didn't, I was kind of feeling like you have to stand up for yourself. So if it's
It's kind of,
verbal, I kind of go, look, can you leave it if it's just verbal? And I got kind of good at going, what's worth getting into a fight over, like you were saying, and then like
yeah.
what's just better off if you leave it.
But it
You know what
still
I mean?
affects, like it's like fucked if you
Yeah,
do, fucked if you don't.
yeah.
Like if you don't
That's
stand up for,
22.
yeah, catch 22. If you don't stand up for yourself, you feel like worthless. And then if you do, you could get in trouble. And like
Yeah,
you said there, you're a bigger guy. So I've noticed this as well. You always go for the bigger guy,
yeah,
because there's a chance that big guy won't fight back because he knows he'll win the fight.
yeah.
So you might get little small people coming over and starting a fight, and they'll have their mates beside you. So
Mm,
yeah, I seen that a lot. The taller
yeah,
you are, the bigger you are. It's almost like a challenge for some people. I think if
yeah,
we take this,
exactly. They want to test themselves.
they want to test them. So that's it. It's just an alpha male thing. I want to be the dominant person. But I think a
Yeah,
lot lot of people go through that, I suppose, but it depends where you're brought up. It depends where
Yeah,
you're brought up. I'd imagine if you're in a more sheltered area out in the countryside, you'll have more of a positive relationship. You may still have that tug of war situation with your friends, but I don't. It's not like king of the castle. You don't have to prove yourself like that to the extent that some people do. I find,
yeah. Like
you
people would
know.
always say stuff to kind of try and wind me up, and then
Yeah.
they go relax you. We're only messing, and that's the thing I got all the time. Take a slagging, that sort of thing. And if I
But
kind
when
of
someone's
got angry, yeah, if I got angry, it was kind of like, "Oh, calm down," or basically
yeah,
letting me know that it's us against you. Nobody's going to have your back, but we're all going to have each other's back. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And you kind of feel isolated.
you do, and when someone's being hurtful, and when someone's actually trying to take the piss because they like you and they want you in the
Yeah,
group.
yeah,
There is a, yeah, and
100%.
it's obvious you don't take the piss out of someone of the things they're conscious of. You kind of take the piss out of them for being good at something.
Yeah,
Or you think they're great at football, and they are great at football, but it's a compliment in take the piss way. But I think that's the right way to go about it. But as we talk, it's the lack of role models, the lack of. I'm not going to say people are bad parents out there, but maybe they're distracted with their jobs or whatever. But I think spending that time with your kids, um, talking to them, really getting that trust with them, because some kids, they're my parents, but they wouldn't confide their deepest thoughts with them. Lucky enough, I do have parents that I can do that with. So I did get solid advice, but it was only when I expressed myself. I normally kept things to myself, which doesn't
yeah,
help either. Which doesn't, you should be able to feel I'm getting this off my chest and I get a bit of help, but sometimes you don't get it. So you nearly regard it as a sissy or whatever. So you don't have to
yeah,
keep it to yourself, which is unfortunate because we're all
absolutely.
emotional. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, we still have the same needs. We still don't want to be treated poorly and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No kid does, and I think that's the kind of thing that really bothered me was that, like I say, am I to just sit there and take it, and let someone do something to me, or am I
Yeah,
gonna stick up for myself? And I felt like no matter what I did, I was in the wrong. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Being autistic is that's something I always bring up, but I wasn't as quick to read situations or people, so I couldn't
yeah.
pick up whether they were taking the piss out of me or being mates. So I was kind of
Actually,
like, do
that's
I let it continue or do I say something? And if I say something, will I look like I can't take a slagging and then they're going to go even worse? That kind
that's
of
a
way.
good that's a good point actually,
Yeah,
because not everyone interprets the world the same way. We all have our
yeah,
different ways of looking at things and
exactly.
from our life experiences. But it is like I was very small as a young lad, so I was more fiery, but I had to be. I had to be.
Yeah,
But like it kind of worked against me as well. I nearly had to prove myself because I was really small. But as I got older and taller, I had less of that problem. And
yeah,
it was more about talk. I have to say, my social care job really helped me on how to communicate with people, how to talk, how to express, how to resolve, like conflict resolution, all that stuff.
yeah.
You
It's a
know,
really good skill to have
yeah, it really
in
is.
any
Like
job.
you can have conflict with people, but it doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It can be
Yeah,
just look, what you did there really hurt my feelings. And through conflict, you get resolution. You will have conflict with a lot of people as you go through life anyway. It's all
yeah,
about how you approach it. And yeah, that saying, kill them with your kindness.
yeah,
You're better off doing that
yeah.
because, if you start flicking the finger and shouting and screaming, they're going to mirror your reactions. So if you can be the sensible one, they might follow the lead. That sort of way.
True, yeah.
You
Then
know,
everybody can look at them and kind of go, well, this fella's not reacting negatively. You're the one giving it
yeah,
all
it makes you
this,
think.
and he
Yeah,
hasn't done anything. So,
yeah, it makes you
yeah,
think because you might not notice it at the time, but when you reflect upon it, when you look back, you go, actually, I lost the head there. And
yeah,
that saying, be careful who you get into an argument with, because
yeah,
people on the outside observing doesn't know which one's in the wrong. So always present yourself as, look, I can resolve this. And if you owe someone an apology, be humble enough to give it to them. But if
yeah. That's a good point.
if you're in receipt of an apology, it's okay to demand it. And I wouldn't forgive someone unless they ask for forgiveness,
Yeah,
unless but of course that's different with family. You kind of try to forgive and forget. But yeah, it's important to get validated, you know.
yeah, I agree. definitely.
Yeah,
Like that's another thing. Like so, it kind of progresses from if you stand out and you're picked on, or people are saying stuff to you, or going, you have anger management problems, or you're basically made aware of your temper. I kind of went the opposite way and tried to not let my temper get the better of me because I knew it wasn't
yeah,
doing me any favors because everybody just saw the big guy losing the head. But then
yeah,
I found in jobs where I tried my damnedest to just bite my tongue, and say nothing. I have to say now most of it was with women. I had one manager now in a job that was a man, and he did my
yeah,
fucking head in. He was always on to me about something. And when I finally
yeah,
snapped at him, he said, "Oh, calm, the hands, calm down." I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, fuck off,
Uh,
you." Yeah,
you
and you're like,
fuck
"You've been
off.
saying all this stuff."
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
you
like,
know what I
fuck you.
mean.
Yeah,
No, I've had, I find, I've worked with a lot of women managers
yeah,
in social care, but when I was an electrician, I was working with blokes, and it really is like, stand up for yourself. But like you say, when you're in a job, you can't actually get into a physical
no,
altercation. But that did actually happen to me one day. I was working as an electrician in Beacon Court Hotel,
mm,
and my foreman, because I was from Drogheda, and these boys are from Dublin, so like, the story. Like anyone outside Dublin's a culture. So yeah, I
absolutely.
went in. Yeah, but we were in the same company. But when we went down as a team, because we were coming from a different job, had this one guy. I won't mention his name because you know what, he was actually all right in the end. But he was a big guy. He really was a big guy, and he just was poking me. He'd poke me and tell me how to
Like
do my
actually
job. And one
poking
day,
you, yeah?
oh, actually poking me, and I just, what are you poking me for? And he was like, "You're gonna do," and I just, no. So we had it out, and we had a huge little boxing match in the basement, slamming each other off things and everything. Now, don't get me wrong, he kicked the shit out of me, but he realized then I'm in trouble. I'm in big trouble. So
Yeah,
what
because
happened
he did
was,
something bad. He
yeah,
assaulted
he
you.
was he was a foreman. He was
Yeah.
actually a foreman. So he only got the job because his brother was also a foreman. Now that's, I don't mind saying that, but that when after that happened, I had the top guy come down. I won't mention his name, but
Mm.
he came up to me and he just said, "Is everything okay?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you want to tell me anything?" I go, "No, that's fine." But ever since that point, I understood the game, but like I was treated very well after that point, and I got the handiest jobs ever, and it was grand. It worked out in my favor, but I
You had him
felt.
over a barrel.
Yeah, I felt, but I did. I could have, like, but I felt like I redeemed myself, that I stood up for myself after the years of being bullied when I was a young lad. So
Yeah.
if actually, I don't regret it. I don't regret it, But like, I ended up becoming all right friends with your man, and I could ring him up anytime. And I come here, I'm doing such a job. What's the best approach here? And he know off be hard because he was a good electrician.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wonder, do you experience with the young people where you are now? Do you see the bullying going on? You know?
Yeah, like sometimes what I see is there's lads who are always in trouble. The finger's always being pointed at them, and the young
Yeah,
fellas kind of know this, but the young fella
yeah,
will do everybody's head in, so they're all eager to get one up on him. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So you have to be careful that you watch that, but also he can do your head in as well. So you're kind of like, I know where's are coming from.
yeah,
So it's a hard one. I did notice as well. One of the groups we have, which is out literally in a back arse of nowhere, the little country post
yeah.
office and shop.
Oh yeah.
But it was like 20 girls and only one fella in one of our primary groups. So all the girls were obviously picking on the young fella, which is a
Oh
weird,
no. You'd think he'd
it's a
be in
very
cloud
weird
nine.
one. Yeah.
The girls are very witty. I found the
Oh, they
girls to
are.
be.
They know how to get away
Yeah.
with it.
Oh, they do. Yeah. Um, I was with the youth center, especially youth work.
Mm,
The young ladies come in and are like, "Who are you talking to?" and this, that, and the other. But deep down, they are very broken themselves. Like they're
yeah.
very insecure and all that. But they could put up this front, like I'm confident or whatever. But like I'd see them rip into the young lads, and they'd know exactly what to say to hurt them. And it was the lads that hadn't a clue how to resolve that. They didn't know how to stand up to themselves
Yeah.
against a female. So yeah, the girls I found very witty, but yeah, I didn't see much. There was a bit of bullying with the girls on girls,
Yeah.
and but I see. I wasn't used to seeing that as a young lad. The girls, when I was a child, growing up, even as a teenager, I never saw girls fighting really. You might see it the odd time an older group fighting, but I've never. The girls normally got on well together. Like if you haven't noticed, right? Like let's say I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've been in the company of girls where they have a massive row and it's like, no, they're a bitch. I'll never talk to them again. And you think, oh yeah, I totally agree with you, this, that, and the other. And then within 20 minutes, they're best friends again, and they're
Yeah,
heading off on holidays in a couple of weeks. Like so, but if a fella has a disagreement with another fella, it's either you resolve it or you don't talk anymore. You know,
pretty
it's with
much.
girls. With girls, it's different. I think they're better. Maybe letting things go with each other. I'm not saying they do it with men, but they seem to be able to resolve their conflicts and move on a lot better than the lads. The lads are kind of like, no, you crossed the line now. Because fellas don't give you a warning. Fellas normally just, okay, fair enough. But in their mind, they're thinking, no, if you do that to me again, I'm going to cut you off and we won't be hanging around with each other again. Fellas don't really give the heads up, but girls do, I think. And I think that's, different dynamic,
Yeah, no, it
you
could be
know.
for sure. It's an interesting point you make because there are a few people now, and I wouldn't be very good at cutting ties. I've actually found it quite difficult, to cut people off because when you're
Yeah.
growing up and you don't have an awful lot of mates, like you kind of take what you can
You
get, and
take
as
what,
you
yeah,
say, the big
yeah,
group
yeah,
of lads. So
yeah.
like I kind of had that as well, but they wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire. Do you know what I mean? They weren't a great group, so.
Yeah,
I was only out with them because they give me smokes or they give me weed or something. So I thought I just
yeah,
wanted to numb myself at that stage. Like
yeah,
it was a very difficult period, so I was kind of like I was just self-medicating, as they say.
yeah, yeah,
And I kind of found like there were a lot of snakes. A lot of lads you think were your mates
yeah,
that would
yeah,
turn on you
yeah,
instantly. And I don't know if it was just a bad budge that I had or whether that's the society we have nowadays, but it was just that there were a lot of lads who'd see a lad down on his luck and would turn on him rather
yeah,
than sticking up for him. They would all
yeah,
just, as you say, with the top dog or the alpha male,
yeah.
whoever's the loudest in the room, they just side with him,
They follow him,
whoever it
yeah.
was. Yeah,
Fear, yeah, I've seen that a lot.
yeah,
My upbringing was a lot different, like because I lived in the town.
yeah,
So I had loads of different groups of friends that I could go to all the time. It was
yeah,
only
yeah,
when I got into secondary school I found my forever friends kind of thing. But I
yeah,
still, every time I went to walk in different places, when I started walking, that's when I started engaging with people who were older than me and became friends with them. But like most of them were toxic. Most of them had
yeah,
drug problems and just that. And that's how I got involved in, the mad stuff. I just got in with the wrong people, and within a couple of months, I was in over my head, and it took me a while to get away from it. But like, I have cut people out of my life because remember that's I said it to you a while back. In order to become a better version of yourself, you're gonna have to say a few goodbyes. So
yeah,
these people that I was surrounding myself with really I was on the wrong road with them. And like I told you, a lot of them are dead now, or some of them are really heavy drug dealers, like big drug dealers. So
yeah,
I just walked away from that. It was when I went to college. That's when it all changed because I realized actually I'm a role model, and that was kind of a put to us. So you can't go out there and cause havoc. You can't go out there and get a criminal record. You really have to be a good, outstanding citizen and be a
yeah,
good role model. So that's why, yeah, I just copped on and got my stuff together. But I was raised well. I was raised well. We weren't raised rough or like my mom and dad really kind of put their heart and soul into us.
yeah.
So we had a good upbringing. But that stood to me, I suppose. That's what made me realize actually, no, I wasn't brought up this way. This is the road I want to be on. So yeah, yeah. I think I got lucky though. I think I got really lucky.
Yeah, I think I
You
did
know.
too. Like when we were talking about it the last week, but I like my dad was in and out of my life a lot. I only
Yeah,
met him there at the weekend, and it was good seeing him.
I'm happy
I was
there.
glad that I did. Yeah, we hadn't seen each other in ages. Like I didn't realize how long it was. It's nearly a
Yeah.
year, so
Whoa, that is
it wasn't
long.
even a falling out. Like we had been seeing each other. It's just that we had a lot on or something was
Yeah,
happening. But I do
life
feel
happens.
better having seen him. It's good to
Because that's your
keep
dad.
people in. Yeah,
It is your dad, and I think everyone wants their approval from their dad and advice and
yeah,
all that stuff, or even just to have a good relationship. Like
yeah, exactly.
I went about. probably 9 or 10 years without talking to my dad. And like I'd see him driving around the town. It was he was going through his stuff. I was going through my stuff. But the funniest thing is, if he had got his shit together, I wouldn't have lost my shit, if you know what I mean. I would have
Yeah,
been more stable. I just didn't have that role model in my life to say, "Whoa, what are you doing?"
yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, you do need that. You do need that. I think as I get older now, it's not that my relationship is better with my dad than my mum, but I contact my dad a lot more than I do my mum.
Yeah,
You know, but that's only happened the last year or two. But we could be on the phone for hours talking about how to make the perfect steak and just silly things. But like we're getting to know each other properly. You know what I mean? So I feel it's good for me. It's good for me, and I'm sure it's good for
yeah.
my dad as well. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
100%. I'd say it is, and that's the thing. Like, I'm very willing to forgive family, and I think we all want to
I
whenever
don't.
we get the
Yeah,
chance.
you don't know when you're going to lose them. You don't know
Yeah,
what's going to happen tomorrow. So, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? So that's why I think
yeah.
I don't want to hold on to grudges and stuff like that. It's
No, 100%.
life is too short, you know. And I'm 40 now, and the realization that I could be halfway through my life kind of makes me really think like actually I should let that stuff go because if you don't you'll end up in the same loop. It's like your ego won't let you to forgive or whatever. You'll stay in that same loop. Nothing will change for you. You know, you
Yeah,
have to move on and let go, you know. So that's looking at the bullying and all that. Like you have to let that stuff go after a while and realize actually that shaped my character, you know, and you don't learn nothing sitting on a beach. You have to go
yeah,
through life and learn, you know. So, like, yeah, I think those experiences, I wouldn't see them as negative. I try and see it as a positive because not many people get to experience that. That's another, I know that sounds silly, but not everyone gets to experience bullying. No, they don't know the effects it has on someone. So, that insight is really like useful, really is
yeah.
useful,
And
you
that's the
know.
thing as well. Like, I didn't realize what was going on with my little brother. And so he'd be a big lad, like bigger than me, and like
Yeah.
people would have teased him a lot more about his weight than I got.
Ah,
But a fella that I thought was good mates with him turned out to be giving him a horrendous time, or
really?
always making a scene out of him, or like poking his belly or
Taking the
whatever.
piss. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's the
and
butt of the joke.
exactly, and always making him the butt of the jokes. And I kind of had experienced a bit of that myself, where people had slagged me off if I lost a game of rugby, like you were saying with football, something stupid, but
Yeah.
basically kind of hammering home why you lost the game, and they'd find whatever they could and try and say it to me. But when I found out exactly what happened just about a year ago, I saw the fella who did it, and it
Yeah.
was at a jobs fair. And I ran up to
Yeah.
him and kind of bumped into him. Was like, "Do you fucking remember what you did to my brother?"
Yeah.
And he said,
Good
"Oh,
man.
that's
Nah, fuck it. Good man.
yeah." I feel good for having done it, but he was kind of like, "Oh, that's all sorted now," and he kind of shot himself and didn't expect it. The two
Yeah.
lads that were with him were kind of like, "Who's this bloke?" And I was like, "Bye bye,
Yeah.
we're having it
Well,
out here."
I'm glad you said that because I had a similar experience. I didn't get bullied by this particular guy. I hung around with him, but he was the alpha, and
Yeah,
he used to throw us around. And but when I went into secondary school and I had my cousins there and all that, he said something to me one day. Did you do A, B, and C? I forget what the context of the conversation was, but I told him, I says, "What are you talking about?" And his reaction was just like, "Oh, okay, no bother. See you later." And I was really like, what was that all about? Like, why did he just walk away and not put it to me? And I realized it was how I responded to it. I didn't go, oh, okay, okay. I was kind of like,
yeah,
what the hell are you talking about?
yeah,
Like, I challenged him on it. So he realized, actually, geez, he's not the same guy he used to be. So I think, you know, the way, you know, that saying, sometimes bullies are actually quite soft and easy to slap the head off themselves. You know, that sort of way. If you
yeah,
just put it to them, they might run a mile. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I
yeah,
find that with
absolutely.
bullies, yeah, I find because like it's poor education and poor intelligence as well. Like, how would you not know you're causing someone else like a lot of stress, picking on them? You know, it's a terrible thing. It's one of my pet hates. It really
Yeah,
is.
and it also like the thing that I noticed in myself was that I kind of said fuck everybody else because not having my dad around a lot, or if I ever got into a fight and said it to him, even if it was with a
Yeah,
kid 6 years older than me, he go, you're big enough to deal with it yourself. You know, it's just basically
Yeah,
I'm washing
you
my hands of it. And
got the
none of my
same.
older cousins gave a shit. That they never, I could never go to them. I'd never go to them with
Yeah,
any issues. I only saw one of them there a few years ago. I was serving them in a shop, and it was like any regular customer, a stranger. And I
yeah,
kind of felt a bit, like, felt even more alone because there were so many people who would say, "Oh, I'll get my big brother after you, my cousins after you." That was
yeah,
always
yeah,
used against me. So then I
yeah.
kind of was like, "It's every man for himself," and it
It,
became kind of selfish. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like I
Well,
have to look out for myself
well, you
and
have to
only
sometimes.
myself.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't have an older brother now, so I had to face my own little battles. Although
yeah,
in secondary, I did have a few. Secondary school, I had a few cousins,
yeah,
but it helped a little bit. But by then, established good friends and a good friend group, and that kind of all stopped. But yeah, it really is like you do have to look after yourself sometimes. And
yeah,
I'm not saying it's okay to look after your family, but sometimes your brother needs to learn the same stuff you're learning. That
yeah.
sort of way. He has to learn. Actually, no, am I surrounded by the wrong people? I need to make different life choices. So it's a learning curve. It is a learning curve, even though you don't like someone going through that. You
Yeah,
know.
exactly. 100%. And like when I found out what was going on with my brother and I went up and said something, I
Yeah.
couldn't help myself. And I had an out with your man. And he was like, "Oh, look, I appreciate you coming up and talking to me.
Yeah.
Can I have his number? And I'd like to reach out to him."
Yeah.
No, I don't know if anything ever happened, but he asked, "Can I just shake your hand? I'm sorry, genuinely." And I was like, "Okay, fair enough." When my brother found out, he got upset about it and got angry at me.
Because you stood up
Um,
for him.
yeah, he just thought that there'd be something would happen or it'd start again or it'd trigger a
Yeah.
memory. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
But that's the
he,
fear of being
he left
bullied, isn't
school
it?
a lot as well.
Did
Like
he?
you were saying, he stopped going to school quite
So how's
often.
he doing now?
A lot better, yeah. Like he's recovered, thank God, since then.
Thank God.
Touch wood, he stays on the right track. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was dealing with a lot of my own shit, and I kind of felt bad. I was like, oh, I took my eye off the ball. It was like, yeah, all right. Like, do you need money or anything? Or I saw someone
Yeah.
taking something off him in school. I went up to
Yeah.
the fella and said, hey, give it back. And then he was like running around messing. I was like, give me the fucking thing back now.
Yeah.
I just said, here, you can't just be handing people stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they'll keep taking from you.
Have to wise up.
Yeah, and as I kind of said that, like I invited him out with me and my mates in
Yeah.
school and bought him lunch when I started earning a few quid from
Yeah.
work. And I could see it kind of helped a little, because he was out with us and nobody give him
Give him a
any
bit of
grief.
confidence. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it felt good knowing that I'd at least done that for him. And I was kind of surprised that he didn't expect anyone to do anything for him. And he got
Yeah.
annoyed at me. And I was kind of like, look, if anyone does anything to you, I'll be over with you. I have your back. But he was kind of like, no, it's dragging everything up for me again. And
Yeah.
so I guess you have to be careful.
I have to say, I liked your approach. Like, what you can't keep on fighting someone else's battles for them. So what you did was you introduced them to a different set of people
Yeah,
who had respect for him, and you showed him this is the way you're supposed to be treated. So that's you did more there than you think. But like,
yeah,
I know you also said there you felt bad that you felt like you didn't do enough
yeah.
because you had your own stuff going on.
But
But
I also like when I was quite symptomatic, like when my autism was really bad and I was having regular meltdowns, he bore the brunt of it a lot of times, and there was talk of me going to a special needs school and all that stuff. And
yeah,
I've a lot of guilt over that time period, you know what I mean? Like I feel
he
like
felt
he
like
really got put through it.
yeah. Did he feel like he was on the sideline?
Yeah, and he said it to me
Yeah,
when we got older. I was like, I understand, like it makes sense because he kind of felt like I was getting all the attention, and I kind of felt like
yeah,
everybody liked him more because he was the one not making any trouble. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? We
yeah.
kind of
I
both thought
know.
one's getting all the
Th-
pudding here.
That's it. And I've experienced that myself. Not with bullying, but like my older sister, because she's children.
Hmm.
My mum and dad would spend a lot more time making sure she's okay. But like, I don't mind. I'm over that now. Like, I'm over that. I'm
Yeah,
glad that you support her. But like years ago, I'd be like, but what about me?
yeah.
But like,
Forgetting
but
about
then
me.
again, I don't like that Moddy coddling. I don't like too much interference. I'd rather do it my own way and learn my own way. So deep down, I didn't want it anyway. I was probably gotten a bit jealous that like Well, why are you giving that to me, older
Yeah,
sister? Well, it's just the way it is, you know. And women are different. I think mothers and daughters, they really do need each other, especially when the daughter has children herself. So it's just the passing on skills and information and all that. I think fellas are more like, you know, the brown bear, you know, they come out in the summer, get a bit of jiggy and go off then and hibernate, you know.
yeah, they're
This
grand.
fellas kind
They're
of have
happy.
that mentality, you know. I notice we've 3 minutes left here on this one.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. So we're
Yeah,
nearly at the end of it now, but yeah, I think I think it's important, like we were saying there, just you have to have good people around you
yeah,
because I was just
very
going to say
important.
that I became a bit of an arsehole to other people, and I reached out to them a few years later and was
Yeah,
like, "Look, the way I treated you wasn't right." And then I kind of felt a bit bitter that a few people who were real snakes to me, like were trying to get me battered and all that sort of thing,
yeah,
and they just don't seem to give a shit. And I was kind of like, "Well, fuck you." Like they're all nice to
yeah.
my face now, but back
Back
in
then,
school days, they were trying to have me battered, like get a group of lads to kick my head in, that kind of thing.
yeah.
And I was kind
It's
of like, well, fucked a lot of you.
yeah. No, I wouldn't have any problem with those guys. I'd be like, well, let bygones be bygones.
Yeah,
But I know what you're saying. If you are if you treated someone poorly that didn't deserve it, it was because
yeah,
you were going through what you're going through.
exactly.
And you know, as I got older, I got that opportunity to apologize to these guys as I went along. So you do actually get to fix a few bridges along the way. It's just sometimes it just takes time for you to meet this person again, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. And
So
hindsight's a great thing, always, isn't it? Like looking
it
back at it,
is.
you think everything should have been done this way and that, but things are far from perfect.
Oh, so far from perfect. It's I don't know whoever said life is easy. It's not. It never was.
No,
I don't think it's supposed to be,
no,
especially the times we're living in now. I just think
yeah,
there's so much going on, and I'm actually nice and calm and balanced in my life. But I'm looking at people 10 years, 15 years younger than me, and I'm going, how I wouldn't be able to cope in that environment with that kind of expectation on me, and there's nothing out there for you. You're kind of
yeah.
like,
Does
you
feel
know,
like that sometimes, doesn't it?
it
A
fucking
lot of
does.
people are struggling, and I mean, I guess there's a bit of relief in knowing that. At the same time, you don't want to be
Yeah.
wishing bad on everybody.
You know you don't. You don't. But you do feel like, yeah, what's going on? Like
Yeah,
people would be nicer. But see, I experienced that with my woman. She's in Cavan. Cavan people actually do look out for each other. You know, they
yeah.
make sure that neighbors are all right, which is new for me. I hadn't seen that in a long time.
I
But
haven't experienced it either, really.
no, it's quite new to me when I go down to Cavan. Do you know? How long have we left there?
We're nearly done now, so we wrap this up and in 5 minutes. We'll start the new one. That
Yeah,
sound
I just
good?
want. Yeah, it's perfect.
Good stuff.
I'll see you
See you in
soon, bro.
five.
Take it easy.
Cheers.